Joining me right now is North Dakota Senator and Armed Services Budget and Banking Committee member Kevin Cramer. Senator, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being here. So here we go. Joe Biden on the world stage later today with allies and adversaries right around him. Senator, what do you think we'll hear from Joe Biden today?
You know, Joe Biden likes to apologize for the United States of America. Ironically, he probably does have a few things to apologize to our allies about, not because of our country, but because of his behavior as our commander-in-chief over the last month. But let's not forget, he's really not been very good on the international stage from the very beginning. His people embarrassed us at the Alaska summit with China, where they basically laughed our guys out of the room. And ever since then, it's just been a global decline for the standing of the United States. And who knows? Let's hope he doesn't embarrass us anymore at his UN speech. But I don't expect a lot. I expect he's going to try to change the topic to things like climate change in areas where he's maybe a little more comfortable.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think the speech is going to be about COVID and about climate. Those are going to be the two. He'll try to avoid Afghanistan. He'll try to avoid the border, which is in our faces every day with 200,000 people plus coming into Texas. And I'm with you. It'll be climate and it'll be COVID in that speech today. We'll, of course, be covering it. But look, Senator, you've got a lot of work on your plate. You've got 8 legislative days left on the calendar. And now Democrats want to add the debt ceiling showdown to the spending bill. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer trying to force Republicans to vote on a short-term government funding measure that includes legislation to raise the debt ceiling. Where are we on this?
Well, as you know, about a month ago, at least 46 of us, that's a lot, 46 of us signed a letter saying that we would not support a debt ceiling increase that's attached to a continuing resolution that would continue funding the government for a couple of months, which is exactly what they're going to bring to us. Of the 4 Republicans who didn't sign that letter, at least one has publicly stated she doesn't intend to vote for a continuing resolution that includes a raising of the debt ceiling. And you've covered it very well, Maria. Democrats not only have the complete authority and power to raise the debt ceiling through the reconciliation process, that is to say, all on their own, but they've demonstrated a willingness to raise the debt all on their own, starting with the $2 trillion earlier this year, now the 4, 5, whatever $trillion package that they want to pass that's a large tax increase, as well as this weird human infrastructure discussion. So basically they want to take advantage of the situation and impose socialism and embed it well into our institutions, and they're willing to do all of that with 50 Senate votes and Kamala Harris casting the deciding vote, but they're not willing to own the debt ceiling increase. I expect they own the debt ceiling increase.
What games? Constant games. Let me ask you, Senator, is there a chance nothing gets done? I know that Nancy Pelosi wanted to have these votes happen coinciding one another by September 27th. Is that still the date you're looking at in terms of a vote?
So I think this is where all the pressure's on Nancy Pelosi. She made the promise with moderate Democrats that she would ensure that there'd be a vote on the bipartisan infrastructure package by September 27th. It seems pretty obvious, I think, to most observers, that they're not going to be ready to fund the government or to raise the debt ceiling by September 27th. So that means they have a showdown within their own party. And quite honestly, another political reason why Republicans ought to just let them own it and let her work through this morass that she has created. This is why the bipartisan the bipartisan infrastructure package really has become a bit of a linchpin in many respects. A lot of people, I think, presumed that it would be the other way around, that it would be tagging on to the linchpin, but it has become the linchpin, just as we had hoped it would when we passed it out of the Senate. So she's got all the pressure on her. We might as well, let her own it and see how she gets through it.
So you think there's a chance nothing gets done?
Oh, I do think there's a chance nothing gets done, at least not in the short term. Here's what I think will happen. They're gonna pass it in the House with the debt ceiling suspension. It'll come over here, and we won't in the Senate. So they're gonna have to offer up a clean continuing resolution. Either that or there's a government shutdown. I think both sides have learned over the years that government shutdowns don't benefit anybody, least of all the American economy and the country. So I think that's what will happen. We could probably pass a clean CR for a month or two while they then recalibrate and start renegotiating in real terms rather than in these fantastic terms that include things like a $3.5 to $5.5 trillion human infrastructure package that's just socialism.
Oh, my goodness. Ken, Senator, it's great to see you. Thanks very much for weighing in
My pleasure.
on this very important topic that certainly the markets are focused on as well. We'll see you soon. Kevin Cramer, always a pleasure. Thank you, sir.